this rather sunny day where I appear to have forgotten my sunglasses, you join me in the Caterham 420R. 420R is powered by a 2-litre Ford Duratec engine and gets to 62 miles an hour in 3.8 seconds if you can put the power down. Now, I happen to have chosen probably the final sunny day of the year. So the 420R starts at around 32,900. That's without any options. If you want an SV chassis, you want a factory build, you want LED headlights, and you want a removable steering wheel, the weather pack for instance, you're going to be looking more around about £42,000 on the road. But £42,000 on the road for a car that can do 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds quicker if you can put the power down, tops out at almost 140 miles an hour. Now that is 210 brake horsepower, but 200 newton meters of torque, which originally I looked at the paperwork and thought, well, that's very low torque figures. But realistically, it actually works out. This car weighs 560 kilograms, all in, well, without me. So that power delivery is totally usable. And the sound? Commuting. Now, that's something that I brought up in my 360R video. I said that it's the ultimate daily, because I genuinely thought it was the ultimate daily. Because if you're willing to put aside the fact that it's a little uncomfortable every now and then, it can be a pain to get into, for the most part, this is actually an awesome daily. There's an amount of space and you'll always get amazing looks from people you go past. The 420R is a bit faster. This one still has the comfortable seats, not the stripped back racing ones, which I probably wouldn't be able to commute in, but this is quite a comfortable place to be. So for commuting in the morning, you have a heated windscreen. Great, you've got a heater. With the roof on, even in the depths of winter, you actually end up not having the fan blowing the heat into you. But how is this going to do when I drive just city streets? This is the big one. Just city, not motorway. Traffic, red lights. How does it do? That was an interesting one. I guess that's where it kind of comes in, that it's got semi-slicks, it's got racing tyres effectively, second gear, literally minimal throttle into a corner, hit a greasy patch and the car went backwards. However, it's quite a controllable car when it goes out of control. So fortunately it didn't go anywhere near the curb, but it's food for thought then. In the rain, you really have to slow it down, or you have to put appropriate tyres on. Summary, really comfortable. Even though you don't have lumbar support and they're not padded seats, they are slightly padded. It's comfortable, it's warm. Visibility is actually all right. So not a bad daily commuter. And the fuel economy, well, I've averaged 38 when I was coming back on a longer journey, but I was pushing it a little bit more, and that's tank to tank. So realistically around town, you could actually be looking at 30 to 35 on a run. If you don't push it, 40 to 40. Summary, great commuter, just needs better tyres. So from the outside looking in, the 420R is like every other Caterham within reason. It's a very traditional shape that they've kept for a number of years, and while the front has had updates like the LED headlights you can see on this model, within reason they all kind of look the same. The back end, however, for me is still just simply boring. The back end, those lights, they look like something which has come straight from Halfords for an adaptation for your trailer so you can get some new lights on it. It's not very forward thinking, and I feel that for the money you're paying for the car, especially when you go up in the models and you know anything from a 360 upwards, they could have some nice LED rear lights. The big thing that I've noticed is that as standard, these kind of come with these Avon semi-slick track day tyres, and within reason Caterham kind of advise that you use them all year round. I, however, am not so much in the mindset of using them all year round. Day one or day two in the wet, in a very, very slightly damp corner, blip the throttle the tiniest amount, and I mean only pushing down a little bit, and it's span. This is something which kind of brought me to the consensus originally, this is not an all year car. Did some research and found out you can get winter tyres for these. and owners are driving these with winter tyres, therefore they're driving them all year round. With the weather pack, an optional pack on the outside, it gives you this kind of finalised look to the exterior of the car. The only problem is, on a run as you're going along at 60-70 miles an hour on the motorway, it turns this really aerodynamic car into sort of an F1 car with a tent on the back of it. It's quite noisy, it doesn't weigh a lot, so when the wind hits it you do get blown around, but for the most part very planted. Motorway, so that's a mix of things. That is comfort, noise level, fuel economy and ease of driving on a motorway. The motorway test, and typically that's something done in a conventional car to see how comfortable it is on a long journey, and I'm going to do that in this 420R. Summary to that is it's quite noisy on the motorway, and generally when I've driven these on the motorway I've had the roof off and it's a bit blowy, but you just kind of deal with it. Realise that with the roof on it turns into sort of like an F1 car with a tent on the back of it. Really noisy, getting blown around. I'm constantly worried the roof's going to fly off. I know it's not, it's secured in place. That's a consideration. It is though, however, relatively comfortable, can get a bit noisy, but just put the earplugs in. The heater works really well with the roof on, and visibility is great because you can see everything around you. Interior wise, it's very comfortable and sleek. Even now, it's relatively cold outside. I don't have the heater blowing on me. It's on, there's some heat around here, but I'm relatively comfortable. Visibility is very good considering the mirrors aren't actually useful at all, but you can just turn your head and look. And for ride comfort, it depends how fast you drive. Drive slowly and you're likely to be quite comfortable for quite a long time. Drive fast and you hit those potholes faster, well, there's not a lot of give. Now, excuse me while I make some noise. You do a lot of that when you drive this car. But inside for you and your passengers, even with these more advanced belts to put on, I say advanced, the racing seats, the racing harnesses, it can be a bit of a pain to initially set up, but once you're set in as a driver, you can jump in and go almost as quickly as you would in a traditional car. It's easy peasy really. On a run, you will, on the inside, find this relatively comfortable. While it can get quite noisy at times, generally it's not too bad. For those with more sensitive hearing, you can have a choice of earplugs or pop some headphones in, which you'll need if you want to use any type of hands-free. Gig test time. And I know this isn't a conventional gig test car, but fortunately I don't have to take a lot of equipment, kind of arrange stuff. I am playing guitar today, so I don't actually need to take a lot of stuff with me. As a result, I have a lot more space than I did when I had the 360R and I had my bass and pedal board and stuff. I only have to take my guitar with me, as you can see. There, plenty of room, motorway and back road, effectively. Just seeing how it does. I already know it's a comfortable daily, but as a gigging car, does it make sense? Doesn't the sound of rain on the roof sound lovely? Easy as pie. It sits well on a motorway, 65 to 70 miles an hour. When the wind isn't blowing a gust, you can kind of get away with the tent-ish kind of behaviour that you get when you've got the roof on. It's quiet, it's comfortable inside, it's warm. The heater works especially well with the roof on, obviously. It gets to a point with heat in here where you actually kind of want it turned down, even though it's only about 5 degrees outside. It is properly warm in here. So it's a gig-in car. Visibility was good. Parking's a bit more of a nightmare because I need to think about where I'm going to leave this. Otherwise, 10 out of 10. From that performance point of view, performance and economy, well, economy doesn't really matter, but you can see up to like 43 miles per gallon out of these, tank to tank on the motorway around town. Nothing near that because you'll be having fun. Performance wise, it's a really driving, inspiring car. You just want to drive it everywhere. As impractical as it is, it's got its practicalities. You can take it shopping, and the performance makes the shopping trip considerably faster because when it's dry, you can get to 62 miles an hour in 3.8 seconds or faster. If these Avons are up to temperature and let you grip, you'll end up topping out at 140 miles an hour. On back roads, it does feel incredibly planted, although in the wet you do just have to be very careful, because bearing in mind this has no driver aids. You make a mistake, it's not going to save you. It's up to your driving skill. And this is a car which made me question my driving ability to the absolute max. You can only push this as far as your balls let you go. And realistically, I don't want to bin a £40,000 car. I don't think you do either. On track, however, this is the type of car that will give Porsches a real run for their money. No matter how many wheel drive they have, this is going to be showing them up. Bearing in mind a 360R can take on a Range Rover SVR, beat it, gives you an idea what the 420 can do. Now this 2-litre Ford Duratec engine is the same one that you see in the 360, 420 and the 620. The difference being that when it's in the 360, it's kind of an easy-going one. It's 180 brake horsepower. This one is 210 brake horsepower, and so a bit of a tune. You put it in the 620 and you go up considerably because they've whacked a supercharger on it. As a summary, this is a car you can daily if you've got a strong enough back. It's the type of car which at junctions anyone will let you out because they're so perplexed as to what you're driving. Even if you don't have right of way, they'll let you out. It's the type of car that every morning you'll look out and smile because it's yours. Whether or not you've built it, it's a miles per gallon car. It's the type of thing that if you have the guts, you can drive every day to work, although maybe not in the snow, and that realistically isn't going to actually turn around bad fuel economy. Really, the only bad thing then is the cost. If you want one like this with an SV chassis and you want to have all the extras like the weather pack, which you'll need, you want to have the LED headlights, the R pack, so you've got the bigger alloys, you are looking nearer £40,000, but £40,000 for the performance isn't bad. If you want sat nav, you put your phone on the windscreen. If you want to be warm, put more clothes on, and if you want to smile, put your foot down.